Didn't even know if that was going then. So good. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It was very unscheduled. So good evening, everybody. I'm Paint with Penny. This is issue 48, and here is my co-host, Horlicks.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone this evening? I am good. Look, see, I've just got the chat up. I was so unorganised. I had everything ready apart from the chat.
All unorganised today.
Yeah. Hello, love minis. How are you? Fleetwood J, Dave Milne, Adrian Langley. Hello. Roger Kendall. Hello. And Wayne. Hello.
So we're on issue 48 today, aren't we?
We are.
What's divisible by 48?
Pardon?
What goes up to 48?
12.
Is it the number 4?
Yeah.
Well, it must be time for Dave Say then.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Does that show that was unrehearsed?
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not the brightest spark in the box, but.
So, Mr. Dave, would you like to tell us all about your last 2 weeks? Because we saw you at the beginning of January, didn't we?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's been all go here.
Yeah.
All go. Well, it hasn't really.
It's been all go, but it hasn't.
It's been all go, but it hasn't. It's been all go, but not on the bus.
Right.
I've been just collecting my issues, and I still aren't up to date to my wife's bus because, as you know, she's got all the cab finished and everything. She hasn't started on her seats yet or a floor. And that's because we came to the conclusion that we think that the floors might want painting underneath. Silver, that is. I think that's what we're going to do ours. We was hanging off a bit because we didn't know if the underneath of the floor, there was something else included in that. But it doesn't appear that there is, unless anybody knows any different. If somebody knows any different, please let me know, because I'm about to paint the underneath of the floors of both of our buses.
Right, yeah, I'm a little bit confused because it's the seats that's throwing me off a little bit, because I can't imagine the finished model having that big ugly screw in the back, but now I'm starting to see that it doesn't look like we'll be doing any more to the seats.
Yeah, I thought that. Just based on some posts I've seen on Facebook. Yeah, I think it's going to be there. But to be fair, whether they'll be visible through the actual window when it's all done.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the main thing, doesn't it? Whether they're going to be visible.
Yeah,
I've actually been avoiding Facebook. As you well know, I don't like the spoilers, and I know that we're getting advanced issues coming through with subscriptions. I still can't get mine because I can't get mine from the post office, but obviously I don't want to see what's ahead unless obviously I can't avoid it. So I've kind of been avoiding Facebook for about a week, and then once it all calms down a bit, I'll catch up on all the posts. Johnson Hazel's asked me what the update is on the Newport bus. I haven't started it yet. I had a plan for it, but at the end of the day, it's there. We got another 90 weeks yet, so it's going to be a lot easier if I do it in bulk. I'm not like Dave where I can do it week by week or month by month.
No, especially because you've got a lot of other projects on the go as well, haven't you? So
far too many.
Fitting around your work pattern and
I mean, just a couple of small projects on the go.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. I kind of yeah, I've ran into problems with the R2. As you may know, I'm actually up to issue 22 on the making the videos, and what I've done is, as you see, oh, hang on, what's going on there? My screen's disappeared. As you can see, I'm not a professional body filler person. I put rather a lot on there. But it's the sanding that's coming into problems. The only place I can work regularly is my room, and there's no way I'm doing sanding in my bedroom. James, how are you? I owe you a big apology, James. I'll get to that later on. Sorry, I've just seen the name Richard Morgan. I'm trying to think, where do I know that name from? Anyway.
Oh, so, James, is that what that was that last week?
Right. Did I say that last week as well?
No, there was the apology. Was that the whole confusion?
Right, James. Yeah, I do apologise. We had, hopefully nobody noticed it. We had a little bit of a problem with one person in the chat, and I've got two wonderful moderators, and there's me as well. And James, you go by a couple of other names, don't you? Go by the internet. Anyway, what we've done is we put one guy into timeout, and then obviously the moderators were jumping on it and like, oh, keeping an eye on things. And then obviously you came in with a name that perhaps they thought was a little bit, because this other guy had come back with other names. So then obviously you were saying hello and that, so you were getting timeouts, and I was trying to untime out you. But by the time I'd untime out you, then obviously you'd logged off and come in with a different name. And what you were effectively doing, you were doing the same as the other guy who was spamming, but you weren't doing it for spam reasons. But obviously when the chats are coming in like that, my moderators are obviously looking at it as spam. And I don't have a problem with, I had a chat with my moderators. Well, Horlicks, you're one of the moderators.
Yeah.
And basically what I always say about my moderators, on the day, I don't think they did anything wrong. I don't think they've ever done anything wrong. But even Richard Craig Langley, how are you? Very right. Everyone say hello to Richard Craig Langley. He actually works with me. He's absolutely fantastic guy.
Hello, Richard.
Hi, Richard. Hi.
He's one of our Cardiff drivers. Cardiff drivers are well known for missing trips. No, I didn't say that really. So no, it's like one day I was on a Cardiff duty, and they said to me, "How many trips have you missed?" I said, "Oh, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do the job." And they go, "How many trips have you missed?" And I went, "None, of course." And they went, "Well, you're not a qualified Cardiff driver then." So, but yeah, basically what I say about my moderators is, if they do something, even if they did the wrong thing, but they did it with the good of the stream, then they have my backing. So even if they made a mistake, so long as they've got the good intentions, I will support them 100%. So, but obviously it happened, and I do apologize. So anyway, I'm sorry, we're not getting into the build yet. Something happened at the weekend, which at the time I thought was quite funny. But it's actually been playing on my mind, and I'm going to say something at risk of being unprofessional here. I caught wind of someone who feels that I was smoking marijuana on stream, and they feel that that's in violation of YouTube regulations, and they want to report me, which I suppose could result in my channel being shut down. I shouldn't even need to justify that comment, but I'm going to anyway. You tell me, whoever you are, why you think I would risk my job and my livelihood for doing something like that in public. Bearing in mind that, as far as I'm aware, the drug test that we use at work relies on a hair strand. And as you can see, my hair is a little bit longer than the average person, which means that I'm going to have to cut my hair very short if I should smoke marijuana. Yeah, no, don't be ridiculous. Why? I mean, I encourage people at work, as you can see from Richard Craig Langley, I encourage people at work to watch my show. You know, I tell them my interest. So for all I know, there could be people at work, high up people at work watching my show, you know, and then I'm going to smoke marijuana on live stream. Yeah, don't be stupid. If you don't like me smoking, I'm sorry, I'm going to do absolutely nothing about it. I'm doing a 2 to 3 hour stream. I'm a smoker. I'm not quitting smoking for that length of time on my show. So rant over. I'm really, really sorry.
No, yeah, that's well said. I think it's like that, isn't it? Because like myself as well, we smoke roll-ups. So, you know, people might have the wrong end of the stick. But yeah, I agree. That's a ludicrous thing to say.
And I think that my thinking of technical words here, the way that I think I was the same before the cigarette as I was after the cigarette. I think if I was smoking a mind altering drug, I think I would have been a little bit different.
There's no way they would allow that at work anyway, Penny. So there's absolutely no way. I mean, I'm an ex-smoker and I'm smoking this electronic cigarette, and I think I've seen Horlicks with an electronic cigarette.
Yeah,
and, you know, there's no marijuana in that neither. You know, it's,
how do you get marijuana flavors?
How do you get it? You do get it, yeah, but
yeah.
I don't know how.
I think you can buy something, but not over in this country.
Right. But,
and it just wouldn't get through the post, would it? So
no.
But I'm sorry, I absolutely love my job, and I wouldn't do anything to jeopardize my job.
No. Absolutely.
I've finally sorted my life out, and I'm really happy. Anyway, so shall we get on with some building?
Yeah.
So,
so this issue we're going to be doing the front wall and accessories.
Does that mean I've got to get my bus out?
I don't know. I haven't actually looked through yet, so your guess is as good as mine.
Well, I've got to confess, I've actually enjoyed having the chassis on the shelf and not needing to bring it down, because it saved my muscles so much.
I had to get mine down today because literally my parcel came this week and I haven't had time to film it. So because it was supposed to be live tonight, I literally got home from work, quickly filmed it and got it uploaded. So I think it's up now. But yeah, I did just done issue 31, which was putting the mud flaps on and fitting the wheel arches.
Oh, I remember that. If I remember rightly, that issue was easy so long as you take care and you read the instructions.
Yeah, and I blitzed through it. So that'll give you something to watch later when you go to bed, when you take me to bed.
Sorry, I'm just trying to catch Richard's comment. Where is it? Bank, top or bottom garage? Oh, listen, I'll tell you about the story later on. But Richard, you have heard the news, haven't you, about my little mishap today? Right. Anyway, yeah. So, so it looks like we've got some little quality pieces. I'm liking the fire extinguisher actually. So, but we'll come to that a bit later on. And we've got a brown blob. That's all I can really say to describe it at this point.
A brown blob?
A brown blob. You know, we like to come up with funky names for things.
So, the write-up for this issue is that we're going to start fitting the rear bench and seats on the lower deck, which were assembled in the previous issue. And then also the front wall of the bus extends across the width of the vehicle behind the driver's seat, forming the back wall of the cab and extending across beneath the canopy in front of the front left passenger seats.
Excellent.
So I have just discovered something that is really, really exciting. We have got a bag of NM screws. Just waiting for you guys to share my excitement.
Yeah.
Do you know why I'm so excited?
I know.
Because NM screws are metal screws, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which means after weeks and weeks and weeks, I finally get to use this.
Yeah.
I've got a little confession, actually.
Oh, God, I love confessions.
I filmed my issue 31 today and I didn't use any oil. Even though they were all metal screws. And I went on to say that I didn't actually need it, and I'm actually coping without it at the moment.
Right.
Jolly good.
Right. Shall we get on with this? Get you to pull up the instructions, and then while we're building it, I can tell you my story of today. Dun, dun, dun.
Right.
Chris
Okay.
says we can celebrate. Right. I'm just going to get my bottom deck down. Actually, looks like we're not going to use the chassis today. Oh, where's that gone? Guys, I've lost my bench seats.
Oh, I think last week it fell somewhere, and you said,
And then I said, I'll leave it
later.
because then it can't fall any further.
Yes.
Okay, right. Horlicks is just going to sing to you while we have a quick intermission.
God, no, everyone will disappear.
Well, it just gives me the chance to tell everybody that while we're on air, while I'm on air anyway, I can't see any chat. So I'm relying on Horlicks and Penny to tell me what the chat is. So if you're saying hi to me and I'm not replying, then hi to you now, because obviously I can't see any chat that's on the screen. The only reason I can see chat is when we're not live, when I'm not live, and then I can see the chat. So I apologise for that, but it's just my equipment.
I'm just wondering if you're using an iPad, aren't you?
Yeah.
Does your phone not have, can you not play the feed on your phone?
No.
And then look.
No, I've just got a pay-as-you-go, and it's just for emergencies.
Oh, I see.
I suppose I could download the internet onto it, but I'd end up with
a bill. Does it not connect to the Wi-Fi?
I think it might do, actually. Yeah, I'll have to experiment with that.
It might be a idea, because then you could have the chat on your phone, sort of to the sides. If it's a smartphone, you should be able to connect it to your Wi-Fi, and then you won't get charged or anything.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah.
So the good news is that did you know plastic bounces really, really far? I actually found it 1,000,000 miles away from where it dropped.
Oh, luckily you've found it then.
I have found it. So, okay, so instructions. So, do you know what? I've lost my rhythm now. Where did I last see it? Hiding under the bed. Right, okay, so let's do a part check first then, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
So there are the parts. And then I'll do a little camera switch. There you go. I've actually changed my camera view. I did have it coming off the side, and that didn't quite work for me, so I've got it kind of coming off at an angle. And I think it's kind of working, because I've managed to successfully hide my messy room. Oh, sorry, I've got a packet of rich tea on my desk, and they were stored upside down, and I've just picked them up from the bottom, so they all just fell out.
Rich tea?
I love rich tea. Rich tea and a cup of coffee. Right.
Mrs. Dave loves rich tea as well.
Oh.
See, I like creamy biscuits, like
yeah, but you can't dunk them. You
can.
You know what they? No, you
Oh,
can't.
a custard cream dunked in coffee is the best, because you get the soft biscuit and then you bite into a big lump of cream.
Oh.
Or jammy Dodgers.
I nearly fell out with my boss today.
What,
Do
over
you know
a
she
custard cream?
No. I said, because I'm going to be making a lasagna next week. I said, do you want me to bring you some in? She went, no, I don't like it. I'm like, what? She goes, no, I don't like cheese. I'm like, how dare you? Right.
Okay.
So,
biggest part we got is 48A.
Now, sorry, go on.
No, yeah, that's the front wall.
Now, this shocked me, because if you look at this, it looks metal, doesn't it?
Yes.
But it's not. It's plastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't believe it's not plastic.
We're seeing a lot of that, aren't we?
Yeah. Johnson Hazel said that they're disappointed it's in plastic, not in metal. Well, what I've said in the past is, does it need to be metal if it doesn't actually need to be, or something like that? I just realised I'm upside down, aren't I? Right, sorry guys, bear with me.
Yeah.
Bin doodly. That's better.
Better.
Right. If every single part was made of metal, how much would that bus weigh?
Mm.
And is this like a supporting wall? Does it need to be metal? So, and quite often when you're doing like injection molding, you can get much better detail in plastic than you can in metal. So my question would be, if you had this in metal, would it be as good as this is? So jury's out on that one.
My question would be, is that the finished quality of the front there, which we're seeing now?
Well, what I'm going to suspect is that this part is going to be hidden, hence it's not been painted. This bit will be on show, so it's going to look like that with the seats coming down there.
No, I think they've got that wrong way around.
Do you think?
Yeah.
We can't have that bit on show, can you?
That'll be inside. That'll be inside.
Because the fire extinguisher will be behind the driver's seat, won't it?
You having a sneak peek? Ah, because the fire extinguisher is for the driver. I think you're right, Dave.
Yeah. So if that's the finished quality and we're not getting anything else, then...
But then surely there'd be something there then, would there?
Well, could be. Could be.
I don't know. We'll find out. We're being impatient now, aren't we? So, are you going to tell us what brown blob is?
Yeah, it's a utility box.
Of course. Of course it is.
Everyone needs a utility box.
Of course you do. And part 48C?
That is a fire extinguisher.
And that is made of metal. Which kind of brings me to my point. You know, maybe that needs to be metal.
Yeah. Although it's a funny looking fire extinguisher, because I thought they were red.
I think it's one of those old-fashioned pumpy ones.
It is, yeah. It's a powering one. They had them in the 50s and 60s, and you unscrewed the top and then pumped them like that in the direction of the fire.
Oh, I see. Oh, see, yeah, I'm too young for that to remember.
That's how you do it, Horlicks.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, what's funny?
Nothing.
Okay. Right. And then we've got some
DP screws.
DP screws.
3.
Okay, and I'm just going to chuck them straight in the box, as I often do. And I will count these this time, unlike last week. So we've got 3, so I'm assuming we're going to use 2. It's the usual way, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then lastly, we have...
NM.
Da-da-dum!
NM.
Now, the question is, have you been organised enough, Penny, to put your 3-in-1 oil into a squeezy bottle?
Sorry, Horlicks, did you just use the word organised and penny in the same sentence?
I did.
Come on, Horlicks, you know me by now. The answer to that is obviously no.
No, yeah.
Okay, so, but what I can do is we'll pretend that I'm organised and pretend that I've actually saved this piece of plastic all week just for the small spot of 3-in-1 oil. Because what I did last week in preparation was I cut this little bit out last week, as you can tell. And that's just right for my 3-in-1 oil.
Okay.
Excellent.
Was I convincing them?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm just being honest.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So, shall we have a look at the instructions?
Yeah, okay. So, The first step is when I can get my thing up.
To remember where you put the seats.
Okay, so yeah, step 1. You need to position the right footrest, 47K, so the edge of the footrest sits outside the raised rim on the floor, and the 3 screw sockets on the underside of the footrest are aligned.
Sorry, I just dropped my seats.
With the 3 holes in the... You drop your seats.
I did. I dropped my seats on the floor. Right, there we go.
Right, do you need me to say that again?
Say again?
Do you need me to go through that again?
No. Well, unless the audience does. Right, okay, so we are positioning the footrest, and it is the footrest opposite the little blobby bit. And Horlicks says to go outside the rail, so therefore it'll just be easier to place it on and then just slide it in. And then we're going to fasten that with
3 JP screws.
3 JPs. So now I can begin my story. You are going to love this one, Richard. Not. So we have had delivery of a brand new bus on demonstration. It's a Mercedes-Benz Citaro. It is absolutely amazing. It's smooth as anything. It's got USB sockets for people to charge their phones and all sorts, and it's absolutely lovely. And I got to use it today. And I can tell you it's absolutely brilliant. And anyway, so I had a little drunk man come on my bus. Didn't know he was drunk at the time. And when he got to near his stop, rather than ring the one of the 4 million bus bells that we've got on the bus, he decides to walk all the way to the front. So I was giving a smooth journey, I promise you. But he decides he's obviously not very stable. So he falls forward straight into the front of the bus, and then starts mouthing off at me about my driving, and then he falls backwards. In front of one of the seats there's a glass panel by the door. On the near side you got a row of seats, and then you got this big pane of glass. Mm-hmm. He falls backwards into that piece of glass, and my guess is his shopping in a carrier bag moves back, and the next thing I see is the whole glass panel smashes.
Oh my God.
We've had that bus 3 days, and I'm the first one to break it.
Well, not strictly you, but...
No.
So, but he was so drunk he couldn't even leave his details. But I didn't notice he was drunk till afterwards. So, yeah.
Do they have CCTV on those ones?
I believe so, yeah. And it might actually work because it's not our buses. Actually, no, I retract that statement. Right. So I have placed on the footrest. I've done it in my usual way. I've put the middle screw in just enough to bite. Then I've gone for the other 2, and then I've tightened them up. So it's in there nice and tight now. Okay, so we have a look at the next stage.
Okay, so stage 2, we need to position the right rear seat frame, 47J, behind the footrest so that the screw sockets on the underside of the seat frame are aligned with the screw holes circled in red. Fix that in place with 2 JP screws.
Okay. So I'm just having a little bit of a dry fit as you said that. And that's a little bit tricky to get in. I don't know if I've got this maybe in at an angle. Oh, there we go. You got to kind of manipulate it a little bit. Yeah, oh, there you go. That's in. So, doesn't really want to. I tell you what, I'm just going to do. I'm just going to chuck loads of JP screws in there. That'll be easier, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just trying to get just enough out of the pot. So this is quite difficult to hold because of the length of the floor and the fact that you're aware that it's fragile. It's a little bit difficult to position. So I'm going to rest it on its side, but obviously it's resting on those seats. So obviously I've got to be very, very careful. If you're doing this yourself, have it the other way round so that the bottom is facing towards you. And then you should be able to get the screw in by working away from yourself. Obviously I'm doing it the wrong way. And I can't actually see any reason why I couldn't do it the right way. So why I'm trying to make life hard for myself, I don't know. So let's position it this way. And that's going to be a lot easier because now I'm working in a more natural fashion. So that screws in just enough to hold it. And then...
And is it just relying on the screw hole to line up? Is there a locating pin on there
There's
at all?
no locating pins, it's just
No.
2 screw holes. So find the first screw hole, doesn't matter which one. And as you notice that once I've got it in the first one, it'll rest, but I don't want to put any weight on it until I've got that second screw in. So now this should line up then, it should pull it all together, which it is. Lovely. So Johnson Hazel is reminding us that we should have kept our JP screws. Right, okay, there's a little gap there. Don't know if you can see that gap. There we are. So I'll see if I can just manipulate. Careful, guys, because if you hold it there, it's going to put pressure along there, and that's only held on by 4 screws. So hold it there on this panel there if you need to hold it. Better still, put it on the ground.
Do you think, is there any reason why perhaps like myself or anyone else like before this stage, is there any need to actually connect those 2 floor panels together at the stage you did, or would they be comfortable to be still left apart? Because I'm just thinking it might be easier all round when you're screwing the seats on and the rear benches if they were still in 2 halves.
Now you've mentioned it, I think that's a really good idea. However, I wouldn't like to now undo them because they're self-tap and screws.
Yeah, they're sure. But like, do you think that would be, a useful tip for those that haven't got that far?
It probably would.
There's
in
no
fact,
reason.
actually, you wouldn't even need to have installed that speaker. Because if anything, that wire's just getting in the way.
Yeah.
So, but the only thing is, I wouldn't know, would it be easy to attach this with some weight on it? That's the only thing I would think. But yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion. I mean, if you're building it like some people I know that like they could build it with their grandchildren. If you're doing that, maybe don't put this together. And then that way, if you are having trouble getting it in, the grandchild or someone can hold it there while you put the screws in. I think your biggest worry is sometimes you need a third hand, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I know. Sorry, yeah, I just got Johnson Hazel's comment about the JP screws. Yes, because there is a very valid point because you don't get any JP screws with this issue. So those, we know some YouTubers don't keep their screws.
Yeah.
They're going to have a problem.
I think we've been using the same JP screws now for about 3 or 4 weeks, haven't we?
Yeah.
So Johnson's also asking, did I have a problem with the metal strip at the bottom of the C's as I did? No, I did. Well, I did and I didn't. This one went on just ever so slightly too far to one side, but only by about 1 millimetre. Steve Lee said an octopus would be a big help. Totally agree. you kind of line up one corner and then work it across. There's a little line across there, if I remember rightly, and that helps line it up. I thought maybe it was a molding error at first, but I can now see after I've put these strips on. It's hard to see, but it's actually there to help line up this strip. So no, I actually didn't have. I can see how some people may have trouble. Okay, do you want to move on to the next stage?
Yes. Oh, just before I do that, Steve Lee's asking that if we've worked out what that little blobby bit is on the real bus. I mean, I don't actually know. I mean,
I'm going to guess.
I thought it may have been like a wheel. You know, some buses you get like a wheel arch cover, but it's too small, isn't it?
I'm wondering if it's got something to do with the crankshafty thingy underneath, where you have the rear diff. Obviously, you've got most of the things laying flat, but you'll have one bit which is bigger, so it's actually going to protrude up. So they've got this just.
It's a cover to cover the differential.
Right.
There you go then, Steve. Yeah, it's differential cover.
Obviously, once we line this up with the chassis, it'll probably become a little bit more clear. I'm just trying to have a sneaky look at my bus, and I can see that round about the rear diff does actually come across there. This is where the wheels are going to be, and there is that rear diff. I can't see that it's needed. However, maybe they need a certain amount of clearance between the rear diff and...
Yeah, because of the bouncing up and down of the suspension.
Right. Oh, of course it is, yeah. Yeah, when the suspension goes up, it's going to lift the rear diff up. Right. So obviously, I guess in real life, this bit of the floor there wouldn't actually be there. That would just be a hole.
No. Yeah, that's right. With just a cover over it. So
yeah. So obviously, would that be an access point for the rear diff if you needed to work on it, or would you always work on it from underneath?
Yes, it can be an access point from the top. Yeah, no problem. It's usually an aluminium cover.
I suppose
that's screwed around.
Sorry, with a diff, don't you have to? Well, you'd have to, like, if it needs an oil change or you're redoing the oil. I suppose that would go in from the top, wouldn't it?
Well, sometimes you can do it from underneath. It's more if you want to change the diff.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll just address this now. Johnson Hausler says the metal one started curling not long after it was attached to the bottom of the sea. I used a bit of super glue. One of the things that I mentioned last week is that it should be a strong glue because it's made by 3M. But what I've always found with these sticky pads is that they're not as strong when you first put them on. If you are a little bit worried, if you maybe have got something like a clamp and put a clamp on, say 3 clamps on that one, and then leave it overnight. Basically, this is going to be a lot stronger now than it was last week. When you first stick it on, it kind of cures. Can I use the word cure?
Yeah.
So, and also I ran my fingers down it a bit because sometimes glues, if you just warm them up with your body heat, sometimes that just helps a little bit. But I've not had any problems with mine. I'm not saying that the technique I used was superior or not, but maybe I just got lucky. But I did. I mean, I didn't clamp it, but I did run my fingers along it like that, just for a few seconds, just to try and get a bit of my body heat into it, just to try and maybe set that glue a bit more. I mean, I might put that in the bottom on that one, but I know some glues, they work better if you warm them up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, shall we guess what's part 3 or?
Yeah. So part 3, yeah. Obviously in the same way as described in step 1, we're going to fit the left footrest in place and fix it with 3 JP screws.
Lovely. So same as before. And then while I'm doing this, I will just address Richard's comment, which is how long in fact, actually, do you want to take over somebody? How long will it take us till we finish the bus?
Oh, blimey.
Oh, yeah, brain. Well, For me, it's going to take longer because I'm behind. But this is 48. We've still got we've still got 82 issues left, haven't we?
Yeah.
82 issues.
So 82 weeks.
Can I just pause you for a second? On this footrest, I said about putting it in and then sliding it in. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because of the little blobby bit. But what I've just found is if you rest the seat on the top and then push it down, there is just enough gap there. In fact, that actually holds it in for you. So that might make life easier. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
No, yeah, so yeah, it's going to be 82 weeks then from now.
Is it really only 82? So we're the way through.
Yeah, unless they throw a few curveballs and delay issues or anything like that, like they did just before Christmas. You know,
I'm still convinced they did that on purpose. You know.
Yeah.
Because I predict. I'm glad. I love it when I get a prediction right. I predicted the subscribers would get ahead of the news agents, and I think that's fine. I think that's brilliant because we've run out of free gifts. So what's the incentive to subscribe? But they've got supply issues, yet they've supplied all the subscribers with their current issues.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
So I think that was a little carrot on a stick.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm 20 odd issues behind. So, yeah, it's going to take me another 20 odd weeks. So, I've still got 100 and so odd weeks. I've still got, over a year.
2020 is the year of perfect vision.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, that was too subtle a joke, that one, wasn't it?
Well, it's going to take me about the same time as you, Alex, because I've got obviously panels to paint and curing times and things like that. And I'm sort of laying behind a little bit, just to sometimes I catch up and then sometimes I'm a little bit behind.
Yeah. Oh. Right. Okay. So, stage 4.
Right. So we're going to attach in the same way as described in step 2, fit the left rear seat frame behind the left footrest and fix in place with 2 JP screws.
Oh, wow. That was a surprise. Sorry, that was sarcasm. Okay, so I'm going to try and work in the same way I should have done before, which is this direction. It's actually handier because then you can see what you're doing a bit better. So this one should be easier to put in because we know what we're doing now. So there we go. It kind of semi-clips into place. There we go. So usual procedure, I've said this about 100 times. We'll pop one screw in, and the screw in just enough to bite. And then the second screw can go in all the way.
So while you're screwing, Johnson's asking if you picked up issue 5 of the cake recipes today.
No, I've given up on that. I was going to do just the first 3 issues, but after the problems I had with issues 1 and 2, I just went, yeah, you can stick issue 3 up your bum.
Okay.
I did see it in the shop, actually. It looked really nice. It wasn't a small model. Okay, so there's your rear bench seats, and that looks rather nice. Right, the wire at the bottom, Richard, there's a speaker box, and we believe that this is going to make engine noises. So once that's plugged in, wherever it's going to plug in, somewhere.
I reckon. Oh no, that right. Oh, I've just cottoned on something. So those holes in the bottom of the floor.
What, these ones?
They're going to fit over the back suspension holes, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Just behind the wheel arch.
They'll give the clearance for the suspension.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I'm being a bit naughty today. I think we better give our show an X rating today. Did I swear at the beginning?
No.
I thought I was going to. Right, so shall we show off the finished view? Oh, you're already on it, aren't you? So that is what we should be looking at. And that is what I'm looking at. So you can see those ugly screws. That's the big debate, really, isn't it?
But they don't look like screws, do they? They look like they've got covers on.
Can you expand that a little bit?
I'm just splitting hairs, but yeah.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, we talk so positive, and we do try to be positive. But there's at the same time, I don't see anything wrong with constructively critical. Did I just make that word up or that phrase?
Constructively critical.
Well, it's like constructive criticism, isn't it?
I suppose with anything, it's going to depend on how closely you're actually going to scrutinise this bus when it's finished.
Yeah.
As to how critical you're going to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to be 100% accurate because there's some bits you just cannot scale down.
Yeah.
So I think Horlicks is dropping hints now that he wants to move on to section 5.
Oh no, I was just getting ready for when you were ready.
Okay. Just unfortunate we just had the view on you then, so we were watching everything you did.
Oh.
Okay, so do you want to read us section 5?
Okay, yeah. So we're going to position the front wall 48A in the alignment shown. This is the inside bus side of the front wall with the passenger window on the left. The right-hand side of the wall forms both the front of the passenger compartment and the rear of the driver's cab. Take the utility box 48B and position it on the driver's side of the wall so that the screw holes are aligned and then fixed in place with 2 DP screws.
Okay. Can you do me a favour? About halfway down on the left, there's a little line going across.
Oh, sorry, here.
Yeah, can you just move your mouse over it?
Here.
Up a bit, left a bit, down a bit.
Oh, there, sorry.
That's it. Yes. Right. That's a bit I'm using as a reference marker. Just keep your mouse there. That bit is this bit there, which is obviously your protruding bit on this side. So then just to the right of that, you've got 2 sets of 2 holes. Just come across to the right a little bit. Follow that line, but keep going. So you see where the blue lines are for DP times 2. Right, you've got 2 holes there. And then where your mouse is now, you've got 2 more holes.
Oh, yeah, small one there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the reference points I'm looking at. So you've got, these are the 2 holes that say DP, and then these are the 2 next to it. So therefore, the utility box, let me just have another look. It's going small side downwards. So that will be incorrect.
Yeah.
In actual fact, it's got a locating peg on it, I've just noticed. And there's a small hole there. So if you try to put it in upside down, it's not going to work. But if you turn it around, you see that locating peg goes in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to fix those with, remind me, please.
We're going to use DP screws.
Okay, so DP screws. And the old penny cliche. Let me just put that JP screw away before it gets muddled up. Right, so, whoops. So I'll get 2 screws out ready. We only got 3 of these, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay. So, screw number 1.
When we say DP screws, it always reminds me of DP.
Do you know, I was funny enough, I was thinking that earlier on. DP, deep heat. Right, so that's in just enough to grip it. So then we can continue to screw. I could probably benefit from a different screw head here, screwdriver head, but this one's working. So, but obviously, if you want to go for maximum efficiency, use a more efficient head. Okay, so I've screwed that in as tight as I dare, and that's in That's not moving, so I'm happy with that. Okay.
Lovely.
So next
Okay.
stage.
Next, we're going to position the fire extinguisher 48C next to the utility box and fit in place with 2 NM screws.
Lovely. So that's obviously going to go in the 2 holes which I described earlier. So we need ceremony music now.
Dun dun dun.
I don't even know what it looks like. I bought this weeks and weeks and weeks ago and I never had a chance to use
It
it.
just looks like vegetable oil.
Oh. All that excitement over that then. Okay, so 2 times NMs. Oh, I've got some red ones in the pot. So we've used them before for wheels.
All I will say, though, is don't use that 3-in-1 oil on a 3D printer.
Does it not work?
No, it makes it worse.
Does it really? Do you know what? I've just finally got my printer to not need anything at all on the print bed. Remind me later on, I'll show you the effect I get. It's absolutely brilliant. If you can actually get your bed leveled absolutely perfect, you don't need any adhesion at all if you've got a glass bed. Right, I'm going to struggle with this. I'm going to change my screw head as well. The reason I'm going to struggle is my first thought is sometimes what I can do is like this, for example. What I was able to do was place it in and then place it on the table and it'll hold like that. Because this is a different width, it won't hold. So maybe possibly if we'd done that the opposite way round, this would hold, this would be held in place by the table and then put in the blobby box, brown blobby thing next. So what I'm now going to have to do is hold that with my finger. It's not a major thing, but obviously we've only got the one hand now. So when that screw doesn't go in properly, oh, oh, oh. I now pronounce you oiled. Oh, oh. It's like cutting through butter with a hot knife. Oh.
I bet the chat's going well.
Oh. Do you know, I've never got this excited about a screw in a long time.
I had a bit of excitement today.
Yeah.
I've bought myself a litre of, I've always wanted some, a litre of 99.9% isopropyl alcohol.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
For
Is that
cleaning
the
and
bed?
cleaning the bed, cleaning electronics, anything like that.
I use surgical spirit myself. But
Thing is, it was £7 for a massive litre bottle of the stuff.
that's cheap.
That was on, I think it was eBay.
Richard? What have you missed? Screwing, oil, screwing and lubrication, and that's about it, really.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So that's it. That's our little fire extinguisher.
Brilliant.
And our brown blobby bit.
Excellent.
So would you like to show us the alleged finished view? And I think mine looks pretty much like that.
Lovely.
Lovely. And that's it.
Grand.
That's it. So what comes next? Oh, he's already on the case, look.
Okay.
So the front part of the left and right side walls are fitted. Whoa, I'm having strange vision there. And attached to the seats and floor of the lower deck. Do you have the picture or do you want me to show my magazine?
I do have the picture.
Okie dokie.
Oh, there it is.
So the front part of the left and right side walls are fitted and attached to the seats. and floor of the lower deck.
Oh, that would be brilliant because it needs to give those seats a bit of support.
Yes. Yeah. Do you think that'll be a complicated build then?
I don't think it'll be complicated, but there's going to be a lot of screwing involved.
Oh, you make sure you tune in next week then, Richard. So, yeah, excellent. Because I'm looking at the seats. There's 5 seats, put 5 forward-facing seats on each side. So they've obviously got to be screwed in. This wall, that looks like an inner wall, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not going to be so it is going to be a double-skinned wall.
Double-skinned, yeah.
See, now we are the experts, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see, brilliant, fantastic. And Dave, obviously, you know, refuses to take a lot of the credit, but he deserves it all. So,
not at all.
I was just thinking, Chris Camplin's not here for the screwing jokes.
I was going to say, I thought it was a little bit clean in the chat room today. I've just, I don't normally like to show the magazines on air because obviously I'm not sure about the copyright issues. But sorry, that just as soon as I saw this, it just reminded me of you, Dave. So you are thinking of preserving a bus?
Oh, would be, yeah.
Yeah. So that's issue 48. When have you got yours yet?
I've got mine, yeah.
All right, so you've probably already read this then.
No, not yet. I have actually. I've opened the packet to make sure that everything was there, but I haven't read it yet. So.
Right.
Oh.
Oh.
Right, you already know, Penny.
I already know.
I got my free gift this week.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
I got my little model bus, and you know what? I'm really impressed. The detail on that.
Brilliant, aren't they?
For the scale, it's absolutely amazing.
It's a bit annoying because of the light, but there you go.
Yeah.
And then that's the back.
Brilliant.
And then...
I almost bought one of the, not one of those, but an Oxford die-cast they're made by.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've got quite a lot.
I mean, the inside's, well, all right, but
I've not taken mine out of the box, but
oh god, no, I haven't. But you can just tell the seats are just that cream plastic. Isn't it?
Yeah. So what's better, the big one or the little one?
Oh, I don't know. I like them both. That's nice. It's a nice addition for the shelf.
Yeah.
Well, there's the right number of seats in it. 5 forward facing on each side and a bench. Actually, it makes, at the very least, this makes good reference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In the same way that I use my R2 alarm clock for reference for the big one, you can kind of use this as reference for our big one. So yeah, is everyone happy with their bus? Who's obviously, if you haven't got it yet, you won't be. But I think it's magnificent. It's free. What's this valued at? About a tenner, isn't it?
Yeah, 10 or 12 quid, something like that.
It's not a cheap, nasty gift, is it?
No.
It's lovely. And I suspect, I mean, I'm not sure if the wheels move, but I expect they do. Yeah. Because obviously you've got the choice, haven't you, to unscrew it from the base.
Yeah.
Not that I would, but yeah, it's lovely. Lovely little surprise. Because I forgot it was coming. So it was a real surprise.
Oh, look. I can open mine. I didn't realise. Let's have a look.
Don't get your fingerprints on it.
Oh, they move. They move.
Yeah.
You do realise I've just knocked half of the future value off this now. Because you know these geeks, they're like, oh, it's got to be unopened. Otherwise you lose value.
No, I think we'll be all right. It's not like we have to open it as such. It just fell apart. Mine's the same. As soon as you take the sleeve off, the top just falls off.
I wouldn't worry too much with them.
Oh, oops. This is my camera. Look, it's see how it comes in from an angle, and I can just swing it away when I don't need it. And likewise, this is my light, which can go up and down.
Yeah, I can just imagine like future generations like finding one of those and going to the Antiques Roadshow, and they'd be going, "Oh my God, that's a 2011 classic Routemasters model.
Yeah.
There was only limited supply, and they'd be worth
I
millions."
think Richard is admiring your R2D2.
Oh yeah, recently finished. We did the live build, didn't we, last
Oh,
week?
that was so much fun. It was like the anticipation. I was actually, I gotta be honest with you. I had a lot of faith in you because I know how focused you are on your builds. But I was trying to mentally prepare nice things to say just in case it didn't work.
Yeah. Richard, no, it was mine isn't 3D printed. It's another part work. And it's from D'Agostini. So just pretty much like this Routemaster build. Every week you get the magazines, but this was only 100 issues instead of 130. Yeah, and you just follow through the magazine week by week. But unfortunately, there has been quite a few. I think more than reasonable percentage have failed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which is a bit sad.
Right, I'm going to really hit you with a question now. Hang on, sorry, bear with me. I'm just trying to find your channel so I can just post a link to it. Oh, hang on. Oh, I'm on different computers. Can you do me a favor, Horlicks? Can you post a link to your channel into the chat? Yeah, so I'm going to hit you with a question which you might want to think about. I don't know, just answer. Of all the R2s that have failed, do you think they failed because parts, for example, or because of the build, the person building them? That might be a really unfair question to ask you.
Yeah, I think it's 50-50, to be honest. There are some quite I'm just trying to get my channel thing up. Yeah, there are quite a few tricky parts, like especially the arms. I can't even do it because it'll jerk off the shelf.
Talk about innuendos. Oh, sorry, I couldn't resist that.
No, there are some dodgy parts like that are quite difficult, and you have to really, really concentrate. But I think a lot of the problems I have seen have just been down to a faulty, circuitry. Or,
Right.
I mean, I've got, I don't know where it is. Hang on. Right, yeah. I was a little bit naughty. Because I was a bit apprehensive whether mine was going to work. I actually ordered a replacement issue 99 and 94, just in the case it didn't work. And it is a bit naughty. I wouldn't normally do that. But this is an orange pie, and that's basically, I've still left it in its anti-static bag. But this is basically a raspberry pie.
Wouldn't you not be better off buying it from something like, if you're buying it just for the orange pie, wouldn't it be better off buying something like Banggood?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, this is already pre-programmed, though, isn't it, for this R2?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
So I know some people had issues with this not working, and if this doesn't work, then it's not going to work. So this is effectively a Raspberry Pi, but it's called an orange pie, and I think it's just more square than
It's a bit sharp, is it?
Yeah.
See.
And the other problem is the MCU, which is the main connection board. You can see all the pins in there. This fails and causes issues as well. But it's good to have the spares because it's future-proof now, I think. So if anything goes wrong,
if it does blow up, you can just put that new one in.
Yeah, like because you never know if the battery's short or do anything. you could spike something. So I have got those raring to go. But to be honest, I haven't actually used him since I played with him the first time. It's more of a showpiece now. Which reminds me, I'm going to have to take the batteries out soon if I don't use it. But I've got the app working, and I do need to keep meaning to do a video on using it with the app on the phone.
Yeah.
But I just haven't got around to it yet. But I will get there. I'm still trying to find my. I'm concentrating on talking. I keep forgetting to put the. There we go. It's a bit long. That should work.
Yeah, Richard, have a look at that channel. It's got. You did start from issue 1 with the R2, didn't you? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did issue 1 to 7, I think, on the first episode because I wasn't sure I was going to film any of it. So I did an update from 1 to 7, and then I started it from 8 onwards.
Steve Lee is telling me to have some chocolate. Are you noticing my toffee crisps in the background there? I do like the 4 for 1, 4 for pounds. Right, guys, I've got 2 things I want to show you. What would you like to see first? My first big proper commission, or the big hint that I'm dropping everyone for my birthday? Yeah, sorry, Sol. I did notice your earlier comment. As Sol says, "Hi guys, sorry I'm late. I've been watching last week's episode by mistake. What a Wally I am."
Wally, I am.
Oh,
Hi, Sol.
So, what would you like to see? My big very subtle hint of what I want for my birthday, or
Yeah,
do them?
I think we'll have that first, don't you, Alex?
yeah.
What, the commission or the hint?
The hint.
Okay, so here's the big hint for my birthday. Oh no, I'm doing it. I can't do camera angles. Screen share. This was actually first posted on Astromex Anonymous. But that, I want that for my birthday.
Wow.
How awesome
I saw
is
a link to that the other day.
How awesome is
Yeah,
that?
that's good.
And I've lost my mouse now. I'm trying
A bit late now. I could have done one of them when I was building.
Yeah. See, I thought, when the weather gets cold, you can put your but don't worry, guys, you got till May to save up for it. So my first commission. Well, I'm in negotiation at the moment, but I got asked last night if I can do this, and it's a Darth Vader mask.
Oh wow!
But he wants it adapted to suit the Rogue One. So I've got to put like the red eyes in, which actually shouldn't be too much of a problem. What I haven't figured yet is I've asked him, does he want that to wear as a mask, or does he want it like as a display piece?
Yeah.
So obviously I can put electronics in, put some sound bites in, press a button and it says, "I am your father, Luke," because you got to put that one in, haven't you? But the file, it looks like you've got a mic in it and everything. So, but it looks like every single part is designed to be printed flat. But it is $27 for just for the file. So obviously I'd have to imagine driving that. Do you know what? That'd be brilliant. Me wearing a Darth Vader mask while driving my bus. I'm just trying to get that picture, but I really like it. I think that's going to be a relatively easy project, actually. Especially when you're comparing it to I don't know, and other things that you could compare it to. This is a nightmare, actually. This kept warping, this blue bit. Oh, I was going to show you the quality of the print. This is a mirrored glass, no hairspray, no glue, nothing. Check that out.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So smooth.
That is, you can't get a lot smoother than that, can
That
you?
is ridiculous. I've never ever seen a print come out like that.
I have now.
That looks like what do you call it? That plastic.
And that's what it looks like. Hang on, which way around was it? Yeah, that's what it looks like with hairspray on
It
it.
looks like acrylic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And what I've done is there's still actually a little warp on it, but I think I'll get away with that.
No, I don't believe you. I reckon you got fed up with it warping. You've paid a company to do a mold of it.
Okay, you got me there. But no, I swear
That is just unbelievable.
I took a long time leveling that bed, though. Ridiculously long amount of time. So, and these are the prints I did today.
But you can't even see the lines.
I know. I think what I've done is I've got the print head ever so slightly too close to the print bed. Just ever so slightly. And this I don't get. This ring, see, it's got 3 holes in it. I think it goes there. But this bit's only got 4 holes in it. It's got 4 holes. So obviously one of them, that you see, that's probably made to measure in there, isn't it? But this,
yeah.
This is it's got all magnets in it. It's ever so funny. I've got to show you the magnets because they're hilarious. If I can find them.
Oh, hello, Chris Campling.
Oh, Chris Campling, we were just talking about.
You missed all the screwing jokes.
Yeah. Oh, there was too many, wasn't there? I think my channel's going to be taken off the air with the amount of screwing jokes we made. So we were just comparing shininess of prints.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I've never, ever seen a print come out like that. Not even, like, no disrespect, but the professionals you see on YouTube doing their 3D prints, yeah. I've never seen anything come out like that.
Yeah, I you know. But I was, we know I was saying to you last week, I'm putting hairspray on. And at one point, what I was having to do was let it print the outside of the brim and then spray more hairspray over it to kind of lock it in. And then it just got to the point where virtually every print was failing. And I think I just had too much of a build-up of hairspray. So, Chris Davies, I was on the phone to you at the time. And I printed them off. And... because I was in the bathroom on the phone, scraping hairspray off a mirror, and yeah, and that's the result it came out as. So, but this is I've only been printing this because I've ran out of grey filament. So, oh, that looks wrong, doesn't it? Oh, that is right. Is that right?
Yeah, it's about right. It goes up a bit further, I think.
What I thought. Yeah, it does. But these are locking into place. Like you've got 2 magnets there, which go there. And then you got the horseshoe goes around there. And they lock in with four magnets. But I don't know. See, a lot of these prints, you look at the files and you think, God, that ain't going to work. And then you print them and you're like, oh, Mr. Badley, you are a genius. And they just work. There we go. That's about right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it should go in a little bit more, but that, you know,
yeah, it's not stuck together though, is it? So it's not going to be perfect.
Oh, sorry. While we're on the subject of R2D2, I need to give a massive shout out to Adrian Langer, actually, because he's private messaged me and offered me replacement bungs for my leg.
Okay.
At an early issue, I thought there may have been a mistake, and I ended up cutting some of my bungs down to
you said something like that, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and Adrian said that for he has got a spare issue and he can send me those through. So thank you very much, Adrian, for that.
Well, I'm going to say something that is almost a cliche. What would we do without the community?
Well, that's it. That's it.
You know, it's tempting to say, "Oh, Adrian, what a legend!" But in all fairness, Adrian is as helpful as everybody else, isn't he? I'm not
Yeah,
saying that Adrian's not helpful. I'm saying that everybody will just jump in and help everybody.
yeah,
You know, I actually said because they were saying about buying the Routemaster issues, and they were saying that they're going to buy them, but they're out of stock. And I almost jumped in and said, "Well, I've got all of these Newport issues that I've got, and I haven't worked on yet. You know, and I've said this to a few other people before. You can have a copy of the Newport magazine, and then replace them when you get the chance.
Mm.
You know, I'm quite happy to do that. You know, as long as I'm not out of pocket. You know, I'm not buying issues for other people, obviously. So yeah, we were mentioning that, Chris, about loads of other people still having problems with their R2s. I kind of asked Horlicks a difficult question. If someone's having a problem, how much is it to do with the actual quality of the build, and how much is it to do with the quality of the builder? And what did you say, 50-50, didn't you, Horlicks?
Yeah, as well as a bit of both. Yeah, as I said, just there are some really difficult parts that need to be right. You know, you need to be extra vigilant when
Yeah.
plugging those plugs in, the wires and all the cables, because yes, they're only meant to go in one way, but I think the actual sockets are quite flimsy, so you could easily push a plug in the wrong way around, and it would go.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, it is a bit of both, really.
And you've also got that, you know, if you had like 1 in a million parts as faulty, that's not unreasonable, is it?
No,
If
but
you
then,
are that 1 in a million, it's a bit of a bugger for you, really.
actually, I've just changed my mind slightly because Chris has just come up with a very good point. Mostly, it's the person that's building, maybe not quite looking at the manual because you know I've done it. It's so easy to miss something, and I suppose there's me saying, you know, these circuit boards and things can maybe damaged out the box, which is probably actually, to be fair, probably quite rare because I expect they test them. So imagine you put a plug in force a plug in the wrong way and then switch the power on. It could, yeah, I suppose that could then deem all the circuitry useless because it's going to be shorting stuff out that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And then when they do put it the right way, they've still got a problem because it's blown the board. So yeah, yeah, I would say 75% is probably just maybe not being quite as vigilant with the instructions.
Yeah, and don't forget, we don't know the exact numbers of magazines they're selling. You know, one of the I was posted an update on my R2 leg yesterday, and I said about I got some warping, and my dad actually responded, and he said, "Oh, is that down to the paint?" And I said, "No, it's the print." And I said that I'm running at about a 20% fail rate at the moment. And I'm quite happy with 10 to 20% fail rate. And I said, surely, you know, you had an acceptable losses in your tray. I think my dad was a printer, and he says, yeah, you know, it's quite acceptable to lose 10% because of defects for whatever reason. And most jobs I've worked in that involve some kind of manufacturing or making, 10% loss on your raw materials is quite acceptable. So yeah, I think we've got to factor that in. Do we have to factor that in, or is there a fair argument to say, well, I paid the money, the goods should work? That's stumped you, isn't it? Okay, on to the next question. Chris Davis, yeah, not a problem. Text me closer to the time, Chris. So that you know I'm useless at remembering stuff. So yeah, if you remind me, I will bring along. I'm actually off to see Chris Davies next week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I haven't seen him. Do you know what I found? I went to see him last year, and I actually found my train tickets, 23rd of August 2018.
Was it
And
that long ago?
yeah, I had planned to do a monthly visit, and work kind of, well, not work got in the way, but lack of money and needing to work kind of got in the way. And yeah, I said I'm going to have to sort of give it a miss for a couple of months, and that was what, 4 or 5 months ago. So yeah, but I know I'm on holiday next week, so I'm working Sunday and Saturday, then I'm taking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. I'm actually going to have Horlicks. You're going to say I'll believe this when I see it, but probably the Thursday I'm switching the printer off, I'm switching the computer off for 24 hours, and I'm just sorting my whole room out.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd believe me. So
We'll find something to do.
yeah. Well, no, I mean, I thought about this, and I may be glossing over the word lazy, but I prefer to say I can always find something a little bit more interesting to do.
Mm.
So, like, shall I clean my room, or shall I do another part of R2D2?
Are you actually going to do what you said and have a good old chivvy around, or have you not decided?
Yeah, I've had a word with the landlord about about stealing next door's room. On the floor, I'm on the top floor of the house, and there's a room next door, so it's smaller than this one. And what I said I want to do is move my bed and my chest of drawers into next door, and then have that room for the night. By moving the bed and the chest of drawers, that creates a space in that corner, which I can then move my hobby area into there. And then as I move it across, it'll create space here, which I can then move the bed into. But I said I want the room so that if I don't get it finished in a day, I'm not sleeping on a bare bit floor. So
And was he okay with that?
yeah, he says. I mean, obviously this went without saying, but he said obviously if I've rented the room, you can't have it. I said, well, yeah, obviously. But yeah, that's the plan. And maybe I'll have a nice friend, Richard, hint, hint, might pop round and help me. So, Steve Lee, you said I need a bigger space. Yes, I do need a bigger space, or I need to organize it more. I still remember that stream I did on April Fool's Day, April 1st, where I built the shelves and that. And for what I was doing at the time, that was absolutely perfect. Remember back then I was doing Routemaster as a pre-recorded video. I didn't have a 3D printer, you know, and everything that I was doing, it was fine. But obviously now I've got into these big projects, and I'm really loving the big projects, the long drawn out. But I don't have to spend much. See, like Routemaster, if I don't have $8.99 next week, I cannot buy issue 49. So therefore, I'd have to wait for my subscription. So obviously, that will bring everything to a halt. If I don't have £20 for filament to print a piece of R2D2 off, well, that's fine because I've made up to issue 21. In fact, let me have a look. Let me do a screen share again. Sorry, I'm not very good at. Yeah, so these are the videos that I've made in advance for the R2. So that's episode 10, which I've just put up. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, which I forgot to put a voiceover on. 21 and 22 I'm working on. And I've just been working on some, I'm doing the LED lights. And, hang on, bear with me a sec. It pops up on the wrong screen. I'm doing some LED. This is all sneak preview stuff now. I'm going to need about 200 LED lights. And Horlicks suggested, rather than sitting there and doing 200, that I do maybe 10 a week. So I've actually done some LED lights, and I've recorded it and I've edited it, and I've made 4 short videos, which I will put at the beginning of each video. One for blue, one for green, one for red, and one for white. And it's just a little short video with a little bit of background track on how to make the LED lights. And it works really well. So obviously you can't hear the music, but it just saves me recording this every single week. But I really enjoyed the fun I had with these Horlicks. Do you remember?
Yeah.
When
But it's funny you should say that, because I feel you now, because I did my latest Raspberry Pi project. I decided to enhance it, and I've actually I wanted to put an LED indicator in a 3D printed case, and a power switch. And I sat here for nearly 20 minutes trying to solder a wire onto the LED. And then I remembered your stream, and then I did what you did, and it was so much easier.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Wrap that wire around and
yeah,
in for you.
But it made it more difficult because I haven't got one of those helping hand things. I really want one of those.
Well, without that helping hands, I need about 5 hands.
Yeah.
And it just means I can, by wrapping it like that, it means I can get away with 2, with just 2 hands. Hey! And then I made a little sheet of paper there for different colours. So, but it's handy because, like I say, I've got all that. You see, there's the blue, there's the green, there's the red, there's the white, and there's the yellow. I've got 5 videos. So yeah, thank you, Horlicks, for suggesting I do that. That certainly made my life a lot easier.
Okay, Richard. Richard's he's got to get going.
Yeah. I'll see you about, because Richard tells me off if I don't say. Sometimes Richard sees me and I don't see him, and then he'll chase me all around Newport to tell me off that I didn't say hello to him. I didn't know you could do back issues with the Agostini. I don't suppose anybody knows if you can accelerate packs. Because I'm thinking about if I've got like a spare 30 quid, 40 quid to like buy an extra pack, so I get an extra month ahead. Because I'm anticipating that April I'm not going to have as much money as I've got now. Because I'm still having a struggle with a certain person who are going to take a lot of money out of my wages every week for a whole year. So, no, you can't. Okay, fair enough. Although the plus side is that once I've paid this bill, which is going to take a whole year, that'll be about the same time that my Millennium Falcon and Harley Davidson finishes, which will give me about an extra 200 quid a month to play with and nothing to spend it on. So,
yeah. It feels like months since I've seen Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, well, there was one due this week or last week. I've got the pack here ready because I'm not streaming in January. I'm sort of taking a bit of a break. So I've got a Millennium Falcon. I've got a Harley Davidson. And then by the time I start streaming again, I'll have another one due. And then I've got the Discovery box, which I still haven't opened yet. So I've got a pack of paints, and unfortunately I know what's in it. And if World of Wayne is watching this, my Discovery box, should I do a live unboxing? What do you reckon?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, are you up for that, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, then give me 2 minutes, and I'll go and get the box.
Okay, see you later, Roger. See you next week.
This will be interesting, actually. Horlicks, won't it?
Yeah, I have seen a couple of them, a couple of her unboxing of these, but it's good because it varies. But I mean, I've started getting into a bit of painting.
Yeah.
But I've sort of put it on a back burner. I've got it sounds ridiculous, but I've always wanted to try one of these. It's one of those diamond paintings. and I don't know if you've heard of them, but it's basically a canvas that's got double-sided tape on it. So this one is actually a picture of the Titanic, and then it's a bit like paint by numbers. So you're not going to see, but there's like a legend on the side that tells you the different colours and the numbers, and then all of those blocks are different letters or numbers. I know it's hard to see. And then you get all these little tiny weeny little beads, and they're all different individually packed in different colours. And then you've got like a special tool and a tray, and you literally stick each bead on the corresponding square.
Yeah.
And you just peel this back, and it's like sticky underneath, and then it makes this amazing like 3D, well 5D painting.
Yeah, excellent.
So I thought I'd try doing a bit of that. So it is sort of painting, but not with paint.
Yeah, I really like that. I'll be interested to see how that comes out.
Yeah, I keep meaning to do it, but I just haven't I haven't had the the mojo to do it.
I think it's always starting. It's going to be the hard bit, isn't it? Once you
Yeah.
do it, yeah. Right, so this is Asset Drop. Some of you may have heard. Basically, this is a surprise box. You pay a fee each month. You get a box. You have no idea what's in it, but the total value of the contents will be more than the amount of money you've paid. But obviously, you don't know what's in it. There's one available for 3D printers where you get some filaments each week, each month.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't tell me about that.
Well, I'll find out more for you then.
Right, I need a link. As soon as the show's finished, I need a link.
Will you not let me go to bed until I give you one?
No.
I'll give you a link. Find the link for you. So, Asset Drop have been around for just over a year now. I discovered them by accident. I've seen these little surprise boxes before, but I wasn't actually into. There was one I saw once. It was Star Trek themed, and you got like an air freshener, a pack of socks, and bits and bobs. And I thought, well, a lot of that I'm not really going to use. And then I discovered this. Now, they do actually do 4 boxes. They do Discovery, which is just painting materials. They do a Heroines box, which is some figures and some paints. This is one from a previous month. And then one month we had a bit of a bonus, and they gave us 2 dwarf figures. That's obviously not finished. They also do a monsters box. Now, you know I love getting this guy out. But this is one of the previous monsters boxes. I absolutely love this. I had so much fun painting this. So you got all of that plus some greens, and then you paint the rest of it, whatever you've got. And it's just to introduce you into new paints, new brands. This is another one I got. And this I probably wouldn't have gone out and bought from the shop. If I saw it in the shops, I probably wouldn't have bought it. But now I've got it, I'm really glad I've got it. But I've actually trimmed down a little bit now. I still get the Monsters box every 2 months, but I get this. This for me is what it's all about. So let's have a look inside. And there's one thing that you always get, and you always get this little booklet, and we always look at this booklet last because this tells you what's in it and what to do with them. And you see that they do actually give part of their profits to the Blue Marine Foundation, which is it's something to do with the environment. I can't remember now, but anyway. So they've given us a color chart. So they have been giving us some Hataka paints in the past, which are actually quite nice. They look a little bit cheap. You look at the packaging, but they're actually pretty nice paints. But the colours seem more set up for tank modelers, and I think that's probably what they are intended for. I think they're a Polish company. And I've actually really enjoyed some of those paints. So let's have a look.
Chris Davies, sorry, I've seen your message. I'll reply when Penny's finished the unboxing.
So this is the most important thing in the whole box. They always give you some sweeties.
Oh, sweet!
Oh, lolly.
Yeah,
I love them drumsticks.
you've got to have your sugar rush when you paint, don't you?
They've brought out those new ones, haven't they? Those foamy ones.
Oh, they're nice.
No, I don't like them. They're not like the original. Obviously, they're completely different, but nah.
So as suspected, we've got three attackers. We've got
Ooh.
dark blue there.
Oh,
What can you think of that's dark blue?
R2D2.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I like that middle one.
what, this dark sea blue?
Yeah.
Let's get a bit of kitchen roll out. Let's do a proper test, shall we? Not just, oh, that looks a nice box. We'll leave it as that. So this one is the Gris Blue Claire, which I suppose, I think that's a grey blue. And one of the things I like about this, it's got a little agitator in it, which doesn't sound any exciting, but it does help mix that paint a lot better. So I like that actually.
That's nice, yeah. So
the one that you like, the dark sea blue,
yeah, it looks really nice.
it's very, very dark blue. Oh, it is. That's almost black.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the consistency is really nice. And then this is the dark blue. So, I don't think that's an R2D2 blue.
no, it needs to be a bit brighter.
It's a very nice blue. Obviously, my camera doesn't tend to do it much justice. But that is a nice colour. And the consistency, oh, you see the coverage there from a finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I do like attackers, actually. I went out and bought a lot of Vallejo's, and I almost regret it, not because they're better than Vallejo's, but they are very good paints. So I might as well pull these out because you've seen them. Oh, I've just seen something that made me very excited. So we've got two brushes, synthetic brushes. I don't tend to use synthetic brushes. I will give them a go. I'll give everything a go because the guy who... Oh, I've never seen a brush like that before.
Wow.
Is there any budding or any artist there that knows what this is for? Synthetic saw brush. Is that for effects? Or, I don't know. I've never seen a brush like that before. So, if anyone could tell me more about it. I'm sure the booklet will. But obviously, so let's have a look at this one. This is
A hammer brush?
oh, look at the length of those bristles.
A chisel brush, maybe?
This is a synthetic liner brush.
Oh, nice.
They're very long bristles. So are they for dry brush. Okay. So is this for drawing lines?
Yeah, I would say so.
It's a size 3.0. Sorry, I'm a brush licker, so. Very nice. So that's the brushes. Oh, something that's made me very excited. Dark Star paints. These are the best metallic paints I have ever used in my life. They are. Have I got anything painted in them? And we have got silver, or it says silver verd, which is going to be very, very useful for Bubo the owl. And we've got a Victorian girl. I'm going to squidge this one on the. I'd like to see if I can use this as a gold. It's for painting long lines. Oh, that's quite a greeny gold.
Wow.
Very nice. but it's like, well, they're called molten metals, and they do come out like metal. And look at the coverage.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Absolutely amazing. I'm thinking about buying the whole range. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, we've got 2 more bottles. So we've got terrain wash, dark brown grey. And this looks like the same. Algan mousse, which is a yellow. Oh, so I've got to have a look at these, haven't we? So we'll have a look at the dark brown grey first. So for those that don't know what a wash is, when you paint, ooh, that's very grey, unless I haven't mixed it properly. So if you notice that the consistency of the paint is very thick, so you'll paint all over, and then what you'll do is you'll apply a wash, obviously with a brush, but you see that that's like liquid.
Yeah.
And what that will do is you'll paint that all over, and what it'll do is it'll run into all the recesses, and it will darken. It'll darken in the recesses, and it will. There's a painter out there called Next Level Painting, and he sums it up for me perfectly. The way to create contrast is that you can make things brighter by making everything else around it darker, and vice versa. You can make dark things darker by making everything else around it brighter.
Yeah.
And that's basically what a wash does. It darkens areas. Don't know. I don't know if you can see in there. Do you see how in that cloak? Oh, come on, focus. You see how you've got dark recesses?
Yeah.
Come into focus. Come on. Please. I really need to set this for fixed focus. Let's see if I can find it. No, that's not going to do it. So basically, if you apply a wash, what will happen is that the wash will run into the recesses, but it leaves the higher areas lighter. And then what you do is on the very, very tips, you'll then paint that a little bit lighter color. So what you've done is if you paint, say, this color, and then you put a blue wash on, and then you apply a lighter one on the edges, this is your middle tone. So by having one darker and one lighter, it really adds contrast to this color. And that's what the wash is for. So that's the dark brown grey, and this one is the yellow greenish. Did we not get a yellow green recently with something?
I believe Jay used a grey wash on the paving on his diorama.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. But you see how it's quite a dull drab colour. But you know when has anyone seen Robbie Bobby's weathering video on his R2D2? Where he's basically rubbed oil into it. Washers have the same effect. But I'm just going to pull out my favourite wash ever by a company called Secret Weapon. And I love it just because Love Minnie's already on top of it, look. So that is my favourite wash. Baby pink. And it's a really good colour actually. It's browny greeny. But it's a strange wash because the more you dilute it, the more the colour completely changes. See, it's quite brown there, but if you dilute it, it becomes more green, which is a bit odd. But, that's oh, we go. It's me talking about washers. Oh, I had a really nice base somewhere. Okay, I'll have to go back to the orc. So with this, what I've done is I've gone all over with a grey, and then I've applied washers, and then I've brushed out a lot of the wash. So you can see right deep in the recesses, it's very dark. And then on the edges, I've gone really, really light grey. So the difference between the dark and the light, but it hasn't just gone from dark to light. It's worked its way out. So it makes it look like the heat, the light has hit it. So yeah, that's that box. Let's have a little look at the booklet. Let me just chuck everything back in. But I'm really, really anything that has at least one bottle of Dark Star in it, as far as I'm concerned, is a very good box. So I'm just wondering how many more months I need to subscribe to Acid Drop to get the full range. I can't remember how much. I think it was about £20 for this box. So we've got 2 terrain washers worth £3.50 each. So that's £7. The brushes are worth £3. Call it £3. Just call it £3. So that's £10 just in the washers and the brush. The Hattakas are £2.30 each, so that's about £7. And the Dark Stars are £3.50 each, so that's another £7. And what they've done here as an example is they're using Shipwreck. So this is the Shipwreck with no washers. I'm sorry if you can't see this very well. I will do my best, but so then they've applied a wash, a first stage wash, and then they've applied another wash, but a little bit thicker and more focused, and then they've done a final step. So you see how those the recesses are really dark.
Excellent.
And then they've got some wash comparisons there. So it's just explaining how washers act differently on different surfaces. So if you've got a matte gloss, if you put a matte varnish over it, it'll act differently as if you did a gloss varnish.
Yeah.
So, but this is great because I've learned quite a few techniques from this, and also having a very good moderator that's not frightened to shout at me when I do it wrong, which is brilliant. I'm not having a go there. And then they've got the blues there, so they're using it for. So these 3 blues that you've seen, these have been placed in the box to work together. So you've got your mid, or you've got your base. You've then got your mid-tone, and then you've got your highlights. And then, of course, what you can do if you want to take that stage further, you can combine the 2 colours to create 5 stages, or 15 stages, or 27 stages. You know, just by adding various degrees of different colours. So yeah, so I get those every month. The drawback to these are, if, for example, if you only paint one kind of thing, I used to paint only chaos figures. So if I was still only painting chaos, those blues would be no good to me whatsoever, because there isn't much chaos with blues. But I subscribe to them because I wanted to try new products. I only ever used the one product, and I just want to see. Some people love it. The ones I used to use are these ones, Citadel paints, which not really much to see, but some people think these are absolutely brilliant. Some people think they're really awful. And if you can use them and it's the only product that you've ever used, you can't really have that opinion that they're good or bad because you've got nothing to compare them against. And they are good paints, and some of the colours are the absolute best you can get, and some of them are really terrible. But by having a much bigger range, it enables me to now say, right, I'll use the red from this range, but I'll use the green from that range. And if I combine, you know, this exact shade isn't available with that brand, you know. So although I use reds from this brand, I'll use that shade of red from another brand. So Johnson Hazel's telling me now that I'm boring. So, but yeah, it's not going to be long before I go to bed either. So,
No, just sorry. Back to the Routemasters. Chris Davies asked me how I'm finding the Routemasters build so far. Loving it, absolutely loving it. I've had no issues really, and
one missing bit.
but yeah, apart from one missing bit. But
I've done very well in this issue. I've had no problem. Oh, this bit's missing.
I can't believe that happened.
That was just comedy that you couldn't write.
But no, everything's gone to plan, I think. Yeah, a few frustrating bits, but yeah, it's overall really enjoyable.
Would it be a good build if you didn't have frustrating bits?
Yes, I've only had one or two, and that was the exhaust pipe.
Yeah,
Trying to get a screwdriver in at an angle.
I actually quite enjoy a build where I finish it and I go, "Ooh, that was hard work." So, you know, if it was easy every week, where would the challenge be?
Yeah.
You know,
I love the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the comments that I'm making won't apply to everybody. Some people want a really easy build.
Yeah, no.
But I'm spending a lot of money on this. I want to try and get a lot out. So I'm not saying it's got to be this, that, or the other. But, you know, make me work for it. That's what I want.
I mean, it's not so much it's the fact, like the exhaust pipe annoyed me because it tells you how to put it together, but in order to get that screw in, you had to put the screwdriver at a funny angle.
I think I remember that now. Yeah,
and that's what annoyed me because no matter how much patience you've got, that screw is never going in straight.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched a lot of World of Mike Anderson, and I've seen him get quite frustrated. I think he'll agree that once it's finished, he's enjoying it. But you know, there's a lot of times he's going, "Oh, come on, come on." So you know, is it because it's just that's the best they can do, or is it badly thought out? Could it be a better thought out? We're quite often saying, like today, we said it as well. Well, if we'd have done it in this order, that might be a little bit easier. Or do you think that Routemaster, they want us to break it so that we have to buy replacement parts?
Well, no, I don't think, because obviously if you're a subscriber, you get them anyway if there's a problem.
Yeah, but if you break the parts while you're making it, you've got to buy another issue. They make more money.
Yeah.
There are companies that operate in that way. Love Minis has asked me about the Lego Harry Potter. Is that really, really big one? It's the biggest Lego set they do. If so, I've seen it and I want it, but I really am trying to hold off. I love the Lego builds, but there's two. Is it the Millennium Falcon is the second biggest one that they do, or is it the Death Star? And I think it's the Harry Potter. It's like the whole great big castle. It's got all the cliffs and everything on it, and it looks. I mean, Lego are just. When I was a kid, it was just square blocks and triangular blocks and wheels, and yeah, it's just come on so much.
Yeah, definitely. I still really want to do that Porsche, and I still haven't got round to buying it.
Yeah,
I need to fix my own car, let alone buying a fake one.
Yeah. I'd like to be able to have it. Well, I can have a car, but I can't see any benefit in it. You know, I live 10 minutes from work, so they have several sets of Lego and they cost as much as a real house. So I don't know. Maybe if I can do some more building for people, I can. You know, maybe if I can build for other people before they realise how easy it is, I can make some big bucks on it then.
I mean, I've mentioned it before, but isn't there? I watched a documentary, and there is some guy out there that actually bought a house just to store his Lego in.
Yeah, I can believe that.
So no one lives in the house. He's just racked out, a bit like Penny there. Got racking in all the rooms, and it's got every single Lego set ever made, all in all this racking, and he just goes there to look at his Lego. I mean, It's mad, but
See, I don't know. You know, it's like people have often asked me, and I've got to admit, I've got the Millennium Falcon just up there. I've got the Harley Davidson. Um, I think ground size, the Millennium Falcon's as big as it's going to get. It's going to get a little bit taller. Um, the Harley's still in bits. The buses, ground wise, that's probably about as big as it's going to get. Obviously, it's going to get taller. But people have said to me, "Oh, what are you going to do with these when you built them?" And my honest answer is, I haven't actually thought that far ahead. And then obviously, I've got R2D2, and it is without the legs. I've actually done the next two layers on it, and I kind of balanced them. Without the legs, the top of the dome is going to come to there, and then
Wow.
the legs are going to raise it even more. So the only option, I'm going to have to take this shelf out, and I'm going to have to lower this shelf just to get it in. But
Wow.
I can't really. Yeah, no problems, James. You take care of a fantastic week. I can't have the full size R2 on the shelf because how am I going to get him off? He's going to weigh so much, isn't he?
Yeah.
He should, in theory, according to my spreadsheet, he should weigh 15 kilos as he is. So I reckon we're probably going to be looking at 20 kilos, 25 kilos, which isn't massively heavy, but it's heavy enough, isn't it?
mm,
Yeah.
You know, putting the shape of him, putting a 25 kilo R2 on your shoulders, and then walking down two floors. That's not going to be easy, is it?
no.
No, not at all.
So again, that's something I've not thought about. So, do you really want to build an R2D2 when you live on the top floor of a house? So, yeah, but I mean, a lot of the small projects I've done, I'm giving them away, and I actually get. I mean, like I don't know if you've seen the video, but I did the baby Groot, where I got given some wood filament, and I just printed it off just to try the filament out. And what I've ended up with is a little figure that will just sit on the shelf. So I gave it to my supervisor at work, and she's got 10 times more enjoyment out of it than I ever would. So therefore, I've got 10 times more enjoyment out of it by giving it away than I would by keeping it. And I'm quite happy to do that. But obviously, I wouldn't be giving R2D2 away. I won't be giving the bus away. Definitely probably won't be giving the Millennium Falcon away. And Harley Davidson, I've got to be honest with the Harley Davidson. I've not built up the enthusiasm for it yet because we've not actually built. We're just collecting bits, and at this present stage, I'm I'm collecting it because we've done 12 months, and I lose a lot of money if I don't carry on building it. But I suspect. Oh, I'll come to that in a sec, Dave. Yeah, once we start putting bits together on the Harley, I suspect that my enthusiasm levels will go up. The bus is building up every week, so obviously my enthusiasm's growing. If it was a case of here's a magazine, just put the bits in a box, would we be as enthusiastic about it?
Mm.
So right, sorry, I meant to apologise to everyone. I had a bit of an issue with cash flow. So I'm planning on sending the screwdrivers and that out tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow. What I'll be honest with you, it's my own stupidity. I tried to order a computer a couple of weeks ago on a credit deal, and I had to pay a deposit, and then you get credit checked, and then I failed the credit check. Had I passed the credit check, I was going to extend my overdraft, but I failed the credit check. But they took the money, which is about 150 quid, which has only just been. You know what debit cards are like. They take the money instantly, but it takes over a week to get the money back. So I didn't want to extend my overdraft. I thought I'm just going to hold it off another week. I hope your YouTube channel, Penny, does get closed down. I'm assuming you meant does not get closed down. Anyway, yeah. So I've got my money back now from the deposit. So I've now obviously got the funds to get the screwdrivers. So if anyone's watching this and you haven't faced, I know Dave Mill. I know I've got your address. Forgotten his name now. Chris Campling, if you're watching. I found I meant to liaise with you. I'll see if I can find it because Chris Campling chose a print, and the print that he went for was a unicorn. And I've got so many tabs open that I can't remember which one it is. So I'll see if I can find it. So I found a unicorn, which I'm going to be printing off probably at the weekend. But I've really increased the quality. And it's also giving me a chance to, there we are.
I seem to have done something.
What have you done?
I've accidentally muted Dave.
Have you? Dave!
So I can't hear Dave at all, but it won't let me unmute him. It just says muted. I've been vigorously clicking things and it won't let me do anything.
Dave, have you muted yourself?
No, I did it. I was messing around with the chat and I tried to move the window over and then I clicked on the arrow and it's muted him.
I fixed him.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. It's official, guys. Horlicks breaks things and I fix them.
Oh, well done.
Can you hear me now?
I can, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I couldn't.
Would you like a half an hour to re-say everything that you've been saying? I've got to admit, I did think you were a bit quiet, Dave.
I could hear you all right. And Horlicks.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. It was my fault, but I thought it just muted at my end, to be fair.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Note to self, don't mess around with Windows.
Yeah. So, Chris, if you're watching, this is the unicorn that I found, which I'm printing, but it's enabling me to. I'm trying an experiment. There's a new support material that I've never used before called tree supports, and rather than hang on, get me up. Right. Normally what happens is where you've got an overhang, it'll just print lines and print them up. And what this tree support does is it prints like a circle, which will then split into two, and then they can split, and it'll end up just touching where it needs support. So that saves an awful lot of cleanup. But it's going to be a big print, but it's going to be a big print because I've got it set to a really good layer height. And
I've not heard of that before.
No, I discovered it the other day and I thought I'd give it a try. So actually I'll see if I can. I'm not printing at the moment, so don't know if it'll show. This will probably take ages because I'm streaming, but
so that's where we differ, I think, because I mean I've been doing 3D printing for a while, but I'm not brave enough really to experiment with too much. Well, I mean, once it works, I know it works, and then I'm just used to doing the same things. But you're more experimental.
Yeah, well, see, I've got to the point now where I can tell if it's going to fail within the first few layers. So yeah, this is a 20-hour print. But I've got it set on a 0.05 layer height. I've got a feeling that's not going to load up. It is massive, but it looks absolutely amazing. Actually, let's. It see if I've got time to fire up Cura. Probably won't even work in Cura either, because you know what my computer's like when I'm streaming. So what I'll do is I'll load it up on Cura for next week, and then I can show you next week. Although I may actually have it printed by then, and then I'm going to get a video going. And I'd like to paint it, if Chris will let me. And I just thought we'll do a very simple. Am I actually moving? Because my computer has frozen.
Yeah.
So,
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
well, I can see you on the Hangout screen. I'm not sure about the actual.
Yeah. Oh, I am moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. So I thought what I'm thinking of is to do the actual horsey bit white, which is going to be a bit of a challenge for me because I hate doing white. And then I thought I'd try and do all of the hair, the tail, and the mane sort of rainbow coloured. And then I'll do the horn a sort of a light brown bony colour. And hopefully that'll turn out really nice. And then I'll do a nice stone effect for the base. Okay, I'm frozen again.
I can see you.
Yeah, I think I am moving, but yeah. So I'll do the base the same colour I've done this. So I think that should be good fun. Yeah. So I think people are starting to desert us now. But it's been a good fun, I think.
Yeah, really good fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right. So guys, we have hopefully got a guest for you for next week. We've got guests for the next few weeks, actually.
Oh, good.
But I'm going to leave it as a surprise for you all.
Great.
I'd like to think that it's going to be a great guest, and it's someone that you wouldn't, even if you sat here guessing, you could probably be guessing all night and you won't guess who it is.
Okay.
How's that grab you?
Yeah.
Would you like to have a guess, Dave?
It'd be a great granddad.
No. I don't have any. Oh, can I tell you a naughty joke?
Go on.
It is a naughty joke. Well, my uncle died last week, and they found him with dressed in women's underwear, with a Man United shirt on, and a dildo stuck up his bum. So anyway, we had the funeral, and the vicar said he'll always be remembered for his charity work. And about 5 people went, "No, he won't."
I saw that. You put that. That was on Facebook earlier, wasn't it? You put that.
I loved it. Yeah. And my joke of the week is, why do the birds sing in the mornings? Anyone?
Don't know.
Because they ain't got to get up in the morning and go fucking work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I told a couple of people at work that the other day, and my operations manager was standing there, and I just went, "You do know it's a joke, don't you? I do love coming to work, honestly." She's like, "Yeah, I know." I said, "It's just that if there aren't many jokes about how much you love work."
No.
She's like, "All right, Penny." So some people are guessing. I'm not going to tell you whether they're right or wrong, but people are trying to guess the guess next week. So yeah, we haven't finalised guests. But we've got a couple of builders coming on the next few weeks. Obviously, we always keep Dave every 4th week, provided Dave's quite happy to carry on coming on.
I'm quite happy if you are quite happy, yeah.
And I would really like to try and I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks, but I'd really like to try and get a guest on every week. So there'll be myself, Horlicks, and another. Yeah. So, yeah. But it's nice to talk about other people's builds. So I love hearing all about it.
Yeah, I might have some news on my builds next time I come on, which is 3 or 4 weeks' time, isn't it? So
yeah.
I'll have some.
Well, who knows with their release schedule? It could be next year.
Yeah.
Right, guys. If you're all happy, I'm gonna end the show.
Yeah? Yeah, I need to think about having some food.
Yeah, I've got to be up there. I'm gonna have to have a look. I've got to do an accident report for the morning for my old man who went through the window, and I'm in at 6:50 in the morning. So I've got between now and 6:50 in the morning to write a report, go to sleep, and get up in the morning. So that's going to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm probably over worrying it. Um, I mean, some people are going to say heartless, but what was he doing standing up? Is the obvious answer. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
he did stand forward, and thing is, we had such a good screen. Oh no, I won't go into it because obviously it's an ongoing thing. I'll probably get in trouble. But yeah, it's worrying me. I mean, the end of the day, something I always say, as a bus driver, we're not out to hurt people.
No.
And I've heard stories of where people have had accidents, and people have tried to console them by saying, well, you're not to blame, or he shouldn't have been there, he shouldn't have done this. But I mean, I knew a guy, he had a drunk guy walking along the path, fell over into the bus and went round the rear wheel arch, obviously died. And it's okay to say, well, the guy was drunk. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. But at the end of the day, if you were driving that bus, it's always going to be on your mind, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah. Of course it is.
And I always have this habit of thinking of the what ifs.
Yeah.
I think I might have mentioned it before, but a couple of years ago, I had a guy do a brake test on me, and I smashed into the back of his car. And what even now, what still runs through my mind is he had a baby girl in the back seat, and obviously it's only a little car, like sort of a Vauxhall Nova car, and all you had between the front of my bus and his little baby girl was his boot, and that's not a big boot. And you have 11.5 tons of double decker slamming into the back of your car while you've got the brakes on, so maybe he consumed spirits on the bus. I don't think he drank on the bus because I tend to notice that. I've had a couple of people. I did get a compliment. I had two girls on the top deck were really loud and rowdy, and I was basically my theory is if someone's on the top deck, you shouldn't theoretically hear them in the driver's cab. And I was getting bothered by them. Normally, I'm not bothered by bad language, but their bad language was that bad it was bothering me. You had a mother and a child downstairs. You had a few old ladies, and I could see that they were bothered. And I pulled into a bus stop, and I opened my doors to make it sound like someone was getting on or off. And I got out of my cab, and everybody looked at me, and I just went. And I walked upstairs, and you could see a couple of them getting ready. And I just went, excuse me, ladies, would you mind just tuning it down a little bit? And they just went, oh, all right. And as I came down, a couple of ladies went at me. And I said, first warning, nice and polite. And one of the ladies downstairs said, yeah, no need to drag yourself down to their level. And I said, but, there may be a second and a third warning. In fact, they'll be lucky if they get a third warning. But I'm used to dealing with the school kids. But the school buses, we get quite a lot of support off the teachers. So I'm able to. It was one right attitude she had. Right, because I asked to see it. She walked on the bus so quick I couldn't see her pass. So I dragged her back to look at her pass. And she really did not like that. And I went, I said, what's the attitude? She said, well, I showed you my pass. I said, I'll tell you what. And I took the pass off her. I said, you can have your pass back when you get to school. And she's like, and she couldn't understand what I was doing. But I know there's a teacher at the school that meets them off the bus. And when I pulled into the school, I just gave the pass to the teacher. And I said, I just think this pupil needs ever so slight attitude readjustment. And that was all I said. And I don't know if the teacher said anything to the pupil, and if he did, what was said, but I didn't think it needed any more than that.
Yeah.
So sometimes a nice, polite first warning, just to make them think, oh, this is what I got. Sometimes that makes them worse, doesn't it? Oh, bloody bus driver. But sometimes, every now and again, you know, they end up saying, oh, well, this is what I got. This is what I could have got. Okay, I've got lucky. So, right. Oh, great. Fleetwood J said he'll try and pop on one week. That's fantastic news.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah. I just, you know, it's just, and also it's nice to put a face to, because obviously on Facebook, people's profile pictures aren't always their face. I don't know why I put my face on, actually. I don't think much of my face, actually. Although, I'll tell you what, I had a funny conversation with someone a few months back about appearing on videos. Myself and this other person, we didn't really like our faces on our videos. In fact, my early videos, I didn't even speak either. And yeah, Chris Davies, I've got you in hand. We're working out when to get you on. Yeah, so then I did a few videos where I started talking on the videos. And then I had a few where I'm starting to actually appear on the video. And here I am now doing live builds. And who would have guessed that? Hello, Stuart Sullivan. How are you? We are actually at the end of the show very shortly. I do apologise. But maybe we can have you on, Stuart Sullivan. Let's get you on. Let's get everybody. Let's get everybody at once.
Yeah, I mean, if people don't come forward, we'll have to start picking people.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're coming on.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't know about it yet, but they're coming on. And then we'll hack into their. We'll do like a Michael McIntyre, and I pick you. So, oh, do you know, I've got to get my video camera in the middle, haven't I? The problem I have is my camera is there, but my TV screen is there. That probably didn't make sense to anyone, did it? What I tend to do, I'm watching the screen there, so I'm never actually looking at the camera. What I ideally want is
camera where your screen is, yeah,
on top of the TV. But the problem with on top of the TV, you know, actually that might work. Do you think that'd work? Is that too high up, do you think? Actually, that's not a million. Yeah, you see. I remember why I didn't put it. That angle, it makes it, you know how people put things in the background, but it is background. If you have yourself too small, like the view it is now, it's coming across as, oh, look at all the stuff I've made. Yeah, that's why I had it lower. I want the background in the background, but I want, yeah, I prefer that. Right, okay. Sorry, guys, I'm not really, I intend to do a.
Well, I mean, it's going to be completely different anyway, isn't it, next week when you rearrange?
Yes.
Or whenever it is you're doing it, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple of years' time. Maybe I can announce my new room.
You're going to have to. You're going to have to for your builds.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have, because I've worked out that if I lose the shelf like that and turn it round and have it running, I'll end up with a big long passageway. So I could actually have R2D2 sitting here. Oh, by the way, guys, I know I'm leaving it really late. Yeah, that's it, Stuart. I need to be in the foreground. Sorry, did I just hear a growl off someone? Is that you, Dave?
No, it was my dog.
Oh, it was your dog, was it? It's just that, as I said, oh, that reminds me. I had the guy who makes the files for my R2D2, he's actually been making some half-size domes, which should work for the D'Agostini. If you want, I will find out some more information. He's working on things, but one thing I know he's working on is the Jabba trays. There's a scene from Star Wars where R2-D2 is kind of for Jabba the Hutt, and they turn him into a sort of a mobile table. And they actually make. I'm going to be doing it for mine. And you've got this table that kind of hooks over the legs, and then glasses and things. But he's actually done one for the D'Agostini one. So, do you want us to? Shall we discuss that in a future episode?
I think so. It sounds great.
Horlicks is doing his Puff the Magic Dragon impression there. So yeah, we'll have to do we'll have to look at those because you know, if I actually found out the Mr. Badley who does files, I thought you had to be a patron to get some of the files. Apparently, it turns out that you don't have to give anything to get all of the files. I'm quite happy to pay because the enjoyment I'm getting out of this and the hard work he's put in. But what he does do is he does patron early releases. So patron subscribers will get access to these files. If you're not a patron subscriber, you will have to wait 3, 4, 5, 6 months for them. But yeah, he's starting to come up with a lot of D'Agostini stuff. So I think that might be of interest to people. So, right, shall we end the show that we were going to mention it 15 minutes ago?
Yeah, I need to have some food.
I think you're falling asleep there, aren't you, Horlicks?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, bless you. You work so hard.
Wow.
Remind us what you were doing today, Horlicks. Was it listening to music?
Yeah, the boss had left the building, so I went to the drum and bass.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna do an absolute neglect of trust here, and I'm gonna play back a video that I was sent today. So
Just a bit of fun.
So for the record, guys,
it probably wasn't the best time to send you the video, really, based on your day.
No, it was. So, guys, everyone, this is Horlicks at work.
Blasting it, yeah.
So there you go, guys. If you want to know what Horlicks does for a living, it's listen to loud music.
No, I had such a boring job. We obviously doing different orders. I work in the specials area, so we deal with all the really big customers because if there's anything wrong, we get a fine, and they're not small.
Right.
Like £400 per T-shirt that's mislabeled. So obviously they put a lot of trust in me, and
I can see why the loud music is actually essential then for doing.
Yeah, but no, I was doing a really monotonous job today, and I had to take off all these barcodes and stick these stickers on, and I was getting bored, and the boss went out, and I was like, right, yeah, crank that up. So I was doing that, and Pete in the background, who works for me, he was dancing away at his desk. So yeah, got to do it now and again.
It's got to be done, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, guys. So thank you ever so much. Yeah,
but you wouldn't want to join, Stuart, is it? To be fair, and I don't know anyone watching this, but it's an awful place to work, really.
Oh, bless. Just hope your boss isn't watching.
No, it's okay, but I think they could be a little bit more generous with wages and a little bit more grateful for what we do, I think.
I got to admit, that's where I think I'm lucky. The wage could be better, but you've got to take into account they can't pay me more than they actually earn themselves. But I do feel my company is very grateful. I think
for us, I've seen their profit.
Yeah.
And it's eye-watering, and it makes you think, why are we not on better money?
Have you kicked
It's a
up a stink
lot.
about it?
A lot of money. And I know like my friend who used to be into it, and he went on like companies' houses and things and looked up their finances and stuff, and they've got money. But I think they've got money because they're scrimping on our wages, so they're getting more money.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's okay. It is a fairly easy job for a majority. But yeah, I just feel well. It's not just me. Everyone just feels undervalued, really, underappreciated.
Yeah, again, see, that's where I think jobs are a lot like insurance companies in that you don't really know how good they are till something happens. And I've had a few things at work, and management seems to have my back, so I'll stick up for the company I work for.
Mm.
I have no qualms saying that, and if there's anyone from work watching that thinks I'm some kind of suck up, I really don't care. I say as I find. The supervisors that I work with most of the time are absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I had a big, obviously I had the incident today, and the manager on duty was very supportive and very helpful. In fact, actually may have got himself in trouble over helping me. So that's the company that I work for.
Yeah.
So if
I
you
mean, I
ever
must admit, yeah, my supervisor's brilliant. He does appreciate us, but there's only so much he can do, and he will try and fight for things for us like wages, but he can only do what he can do, and it's not up to him at the end of the day. If it was up to him, I think we'd be all on a lot more, But,
yeah. But do you think that the people who are responsible for setting the wages are a little bit guilty of saying, if you don't want to do the job for that wage, we'll find someone that can? And there are people out there that will.
That is their attitude. Well, you're replaceable.
Yeah.
So we'll find someone who does want to do it. But we've got a bit of a row about that because that isn't the case at all. You need to, it's not just a case of going, making a few boxes and packing stock. There's so many different, well, for specials anyway, there's so many different orders. I mean, I do ASOS and Lipsy and JD Williams and places like that, TK Maxx, and they've got all strict guidelines, and I know it all off on the top of my head.
So what TK Maxx's guidelines that they must still remain clean when they're thrown on the floor?
No, they buy. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because they buy clearance stock.
Yeah.
But what I can't get my head around is it's not clearance from us because our factory manufactures it for them. Okay. So it's new stuff. Maybe it's an older season, but it's still new stock. It's not.
So you've already made the profit because obviously when you come up with a new garment, it costs so much money to develop it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
So you're then got to sell so many copies. Bali.
That's where a lot of our stuff comes from, and then obviously Turkey and India.
All these countries that will do stuff cheaper.
And Hong Kong. But yeah, but no. So yeah, if me, Pete, and Lorraine, who are trusted to do specials, all went on a mass walkout,
they would be screwed.
They would be because even the people in the office, the top guys, don't even know what we do. They're just so fixed on their computer and typing away and getting sales. They wouldn't have a clue how to process the stock in the warehouse, and that's where it falls down, really.
Yeah, but isn't that a good way to be, though? If your boss doesn't know you, then you're doing an okay job. I don't know. It depends on the job you're doing, really, doesn't it? So Stuart Sullivan, I think your job is a bit different, isn't it? I think your top bosses, they don't know what you do, and it's like that thing years ago about what's his name, Jeremy Hunt, the health secretary, and he was coming out with comments like junior doctors should work weekends, and everyone's like, they already work weekends. which shows a complete lack of understanding of what they do.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So yeah, they even like I could get the director in, say, right, do this job, and he wouldn't have a clue. He'd be like, what? How did you do that? So that's where I think,
so long as the numbers that he's reading are all black and bigger than they were this time last year, that's all he cares about.
That's it.
Yeah.
Never
So
mind.
I'm just going to shut up then, because I just feel so lucky in that department.
But no, I mean, what keeps me there's the people, the rest of the staff. We are just brilliant. We all get on. There's everyone gets on there. And,
Well, I was just about to say to you, come up to Newport and become a bus driver, but obviously you won't want to.
Well, I can't exactly play a load of drum and bass out the bus, can I?
Oh, just sing then.
I could do. I could put a subwoofer onto one of the seats.
I tell you what, I'm not even joking here, right? There's a couple of routes. Obviously, I've got to know customers. But there's a couple of routes where if I don't abuse the old ladies, they complain. They just used to be. The more you abuse them, they love it.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. But it just, what was it? One of my favourite tricks is when people come on with shopping bags. I'm like, oh, what's in there? Let's have a look. And I'm looking through the shopping bags and telling people off for buying Christmas decorations. I said, why are you buying Christmas decorations in January? And they're like, because they're cheaper. I'm like, all right, you got me there then. So and I got this one lad now. He got on the bus once and he gave me like a mini can of Coke and a chocolate bar. Now, I don't drink Coke. I love chocolate, obviously. But obviously, I mean, the guy's disabled, so you don't sit there and go, oh, I don't like that. So I went, oh, do you know what? I said, I was just saying to myself how thirsty I was. And as for chocolate, I love it. And then when he got off, he gave me another chocolate bar. And then I saw him, I think it was Monday. And he goes, oh, glad I've seen you. Here you go. And he gave me those new Maltesers they've got, Malteser buttons, and a can of Coke. And I had another lady. I said to her, I said, oh, do you know what? I said, it's not a good day today. She went, really? I said, yeah. I said, I've had 4 Snickers bars and I'm still an arsehole. And I popped into use the loo and I come out. She'd nipped into the shop and bought me a Snickers bar. She said, here you go. Here's a 5th one for you. It's just a relationship you build up with the customers. So, and I've still got my Christmas tip. I'm still some little old lady. She gave me about 4 Werther's originals.
Oh.
But to her, it's a big thing. You don't go, "Oh, is that it?" It's,
no.
When an old lady gives you Werther's.
Mind you, I don't think much of the new ones. They taste different these days.
Which ones? The
Werther's originals. They don't taste like they used to. I'm sure.
Are you saying that Werther's originals are no longer original?
No, I don't think they are.
I think a lot of things, they taste artificial sweetener to me.
Yeah.
They just don't taste like they used to when I was a kid, unless it's just my taste buds have obviously developed and changed. But
could be because you're getting old now, aren't you?
Apparently,
yeah, taste buds are the first to go.
Yeah, I'm knocking on. Oh no, I had it right here back in some Love Minis after that.
That's it, yeah. Knocking on.
So we're knocking on, are we?
Listen, guys, I'm going to have to end the show. Not as creamy. Yeah, listen, I'm going to have to end the show. It's been absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to be starting negotiations, discussing with a few guests. We've got to get guests. I think once we get a few guests coming on regular, we'll start to get a few more. And it's just going to be a complete barrel of laughs.
Yeah.
So it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from my lovely glamorous host. I can't find the mouse. Horlicks.
Goodbye. Have a good evening, everyone.
Last but certainly not least, it's goodbye from Dave.
And it's goodbye from me. Thank you ever so much for watching us.
All right, take care, guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye.